Hello again, everybody. Yeah, working on the burb again. The last video we made is I replaced the brake switch on it, trying to see if there was some type of a short or something in that to try to figure out if that was a problem for the torque converter not locking up at highway speed. And then in one of my last videos, I was talking about this Suburban, and we got it from my wife's mother, and then we put a paint job and everything on it. It seems to be running okay, but seems like they've always had transmission issues. And then I was digging through some paperwork, and I found two invoices that were talking about the torque converter, the TCC. The code in this truck kept reoccurring and it wouldn't go away, and they replaced that switch back in 2016. I found out after I replaced this, and then I kept digging and they kept records on this thing since it was brand new. So I found a receipt from 2016, I believe. I think it was September of 2016. There was a shop there in Arizona that looked at it, and they did a compression test, and they said that that the cylinders cylinders 5 and 3 were under 90 psi on the compression, and that's bad, and that's usually considered dead cylinders. So what I'm doing now, I'll show you under the hood. I started recording late, so what I'm doing now is I marked all my wires, and I ran the engine to get it to operating temperature. And then once I got it back in here, after I marked my wires, I did that before I ran it, but I've been pulling all of the spark plugs out. So now that tube down there that I have plugged in to that cylinder right there, our compression gauge is going to hook up to that. So I have a remote starter here. I'm going to connect to it, and then I'm going to check the compression on each cylinder. So we're going to find out for sure, because I want to put my eyes on that, because this thing seems to run okay. And when we drove it to Arizona, we got a little over 14 miles per gallon with the torque converter issues. So I was just wanting to make a video. I started recording late, so I just got in and got jumping on it. So I got all the spark plugs out. And as you can see, the distributor cap, I have each cylinder marked. And then I marked each wire, or lightning tube, as Derek calls it on Vice Grip Garage. Love that guy. You guys need to watch him. But I'm going to check the compression, and I'm going to find out, because also if the compression is really low, the computer could sense that. If it's not burning the fuel, I believe could interpret that as a misfire. I'm not getting any lights in the dash, but a misfire can cause your torque converter to fail to lock up also. So we're going to continue this process, and I'll hopefully you'll stay and watch this process and see what comes out. Okay, we have the compression gauge hooked up to cylinder 8 right now. I'm just going to show you guys how this works, and you want to let it rotate probably 3 to 5 rotations. So I have my remote starter hooked up down to the starter, so I can look at the gauge and not have to worry about the key. So we're going to crank this over, and let's see what happens. Okay, we reached almost 180 on the 8th cylinder. Now we're hooked up down there in cylinder 6. So let's check this one out. We've got about 160, a little over. About 163. So we'll just say 160. Okay, now we're down there on cylinder 4. Let's check this one out. See our results. We're about 170 on that one. And now we have that hooked up to cylinder 2. Hopefully that'll sit still for us. The last cylinder I said 170 is actually 175. It's one mark off the 180. So here we go. All right, that one's a little over 160. So we'll call it 160 as well. Okay, we have it hooked to cylinder 7 now. So we will check this out. And that one reached about 155. So that's what we'll call it, 155. Okay, this is cylinder 5. So we're about to crank on it. That's showing we got 160 on cylinder 5. Okay, this is cylinder 3. That one turned out to be 160 as well. These have been pretty consistent. Okay, this is cylinder 1. That one turned out really well too. That's almost 170. We'll just say 165. Okay, I just looked in the cylinder walls and the tops of the pistons with the bore scope I have, and piston walls look good. I didn't see any scratches or major rub spots on the cylinder walls. There's a little carbon buildup on top of the pistons, but this engine does need a valve job, or a valve seal job, because the valve seals do leak a little bit. It puffs a little bit of white smoke at startup, and then after it puffs that little bit of smoke out for about 5 seconds, it's gone. And even when I shut it off, and if I start it back up before it gets down to total ambient temperature, it doesn't blow that puff of smoke. So it takes a while for that oil to seep down into the cylinder walls, but that's what's causing that carbon. And that's another thing I need to do, is get the valve seals done. But I'm going to install some new spark plugs here, and then once I install those spark plugs, I will run new wires from those plugs and replace them onto that old cap. And then what I'll do is I will put the new cap side by side with that in the exact same position, and then snap all those wires from the old cap in the same spots on the new cap. Then I'll pull the rotor button out, put the new rotor button in, put the cap on, and we should fire it up. Okay, I ran all the wires from the distributor cap down to the plugs. So you just do one at a time. And I marked my wires for what cylinder on the engine it was. So I just put, like, if it was cylinder 5, I put 5 marks on it. And if it was cylinder 3, I put 3 marks, or cylinder 4, 4 marks, and etc. But and then I just grabbed what wire, went back here to cylinder 8, found cylinder 8. I plucked it off of the distributor cap, and then I measured it up next to a new wire and got one the same length or as close as possible, and then just routed it the same back to the plug, and then I just repeated that. So those are new wires on an old cap. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the rotor button under there, and then I'm going to place this new cap back on the distributor, and then I'm going to lock it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to match up the plugs, the wires that are on that distributor cap, and then pluck them off one by one, and then just put them in the same position back on the new cap, and then you're all done. Okay, got all the plugs in, got the wires on, and I just matched up all of the wires from the old distributor cap over to the new one here. So I just plucked off the old distributor cap, and then I put the new one on, and then I just held the old distributor cap in the same orientation, and then I just popped each wire off and put it on to the same pin on the top of that one. So we should be good. I went around, I made sure all of them were snapped on good all the way around the engine. So let's turn the key and see what happens. Alright. Alright. Here we go. Yes. Alright. And if you happen to get the firing order messed up, you can go online and there's firing orders for these trucks that shows you what cylinder goes where on the distributor cap. Just saying, if you do get it messed up, I did that before a few years ago. Some wires popped off. I didn't know where they went, but I went online and looked at the firing order, and then I put them right. So it's really not that big of a deal if you mess up, just letting you know. Thank goodness for the internet. But that's it. That's a tune-up on this, and seems like it was successful. I appreciate all of you watching. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. And I have more coming. There's some more work we got to do to this. But the compression turned out to be okay. So I don't know if this tune-up will help with that. So hopefully when I test drive it tomorrow, it's pretty late. It's already dark outside. So I'll test drive it tomorrow and see if that torque converter works out. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you again. Until next time.